Howdy folks, welcome back to another Bass 66 Chevelle video here, and just took and ordered a few things from my C10 here. I had to show y'all, but I ordered all new tail lights and got all new tail light assemblies and lenses and all the gaskets and all that good stuff. I still got to order the reverse light assemblies, haven't did that yet, but I got everything for the tail lights, and I already replaced the wire harness in this thing about 4 years ago, well 5 years ago, and so everything from this point all the way up to the cab, all the wiring's been replaced. So I replaced that whole wire harness from LMC truck, and these taillights, I cannot stand how they're wired up. They got like a little spring behind me to push it in and then twist the bulb, and then the way they're wired, I just do not like how they're wired. But anyway, I figured I'd go ahead because these taillights are just shot. They got overspray all over them, and then plus on top of it, this one's chipped up here, as you can see. So it's got a little chip in it right there, and this one's chipped up right up here as well. And these might be reproductions, I don't know, because the reproductions have 67 on them as well, so I'm not sure. But anyway, this is the main reason why I ordered them too. They're not too awful expensive, because that one's busted. And I don't want to be sitting here driving this truck and, get a ticket for it. So anyway, I went ahead and I've gotten all the taillight lenses and got the assembly. So this assembly that's back behind this lens here, I ordered new. I ordered all that new because I had a lot of issues with ground connections back here, and I just figured, just buy it all new. But I still got to get the one that's for the reverse lights, get that ordered yet, and then we'll have all that replaced. And this is a truck. If you look back in the videos, we're getting ready to hopefully order a kit here soon, and we're going to put a roller TBI 350 in this thing, and eventually I will put the 454 in it, and I'm still going to make it four-wheel drive, but we got to get this 305 out of this thing because it's got some issues going on, and not sure if it's got a cracked head or if the intake gaskets are leaking internally, or the head gaskets leaking in between the cylinders, or it's blown or something. But regardless of the situation, it's got blow-by, and it's not horrible, but it's kind of getting a little bit bad, and it's getting coolant into the oil. So regardless, it's got to come out. It has served its purpose. It lasted about almost 4 years, so I only paid $200 for it, so I got my money's worth out of it. And at the time, the 350 that was in this truck was a 73 short block 350 with double hump heads, 66 double hump heads on it, and it was bored 60 over, and I think the crank was turned. Can't remember if I think it was 10 thousandths and might have been 20 thousandths under. I can't remember, but I just bought this motor just basically to get it back on the road. But I got a roller TBI 350. I'm gonna upgrade it to the roller cam and all that. I got a bunch of stuff I ordered for it. I did reorder the retainer for the front of it that goes behind the timing chain cover, so I got that. And I got all the dog bones, and I got the I guess you would call it the spider tray that bolts down underneath the intake, so we're good to go there. So now I gotta get a cam and get the roller lifters for it, and I'm gonna run double hump heads on it. I can't find no information on the internet, but I know the push rods are shorter on the roller motors because the lifters are a little bit taller. But I was wondering too, if you put double hump heads on a roller TBI or either a roller Vortec, vice versa, whatever you got there. I was wondering if you put double hump heads on it, I know the push rods are shorter, but if they would still be short, or if you could just use the regular standard ones, for like a Vortec or something. I was just worried about the height of the head from the deck to the top of the head, if it would be different, but not sure. But I got all the pistons out of it. Everything looked pretty good. It did have a couple little things. I had 2 pistons that had 2 broken rings, and so it ain't too awful big deal. But all the rings were they were free for the most part, so I might have broke it when I knocked it out. It's hard to tell. But anyway, I'm going to take and clean them up, and I'll either order new pistons for it, or I'll figure something out. But all the bearings look really good. I mean, I don't see hardly any wear on them. I mean, they look really good there. Let's see if I can capture this. Yeah, they looked really good. So all of them look really good. All the main bearings look good. Nothing was spun. I don't really see hardly any copper showing through or anything. So, I'm gonna check and mic it, check the crank and mic that thing, and I'm gonna probably just order new bearings and let her go. All the cam bearings look really good. I don't really see anything, abnormal about it. But got all the pistons out of it, got the crank out of it, and hopefully here soon we'll get this thing. I'm gonna clean her up here and this junk out of the way here, and we'll get her going. This is a little side video here, real quick. We'll get back to this motor. These heaters right here, I bought this heater here because they don't take no electric or anything to run, and you just run them off propane, and then it's got a little AA battery that ignites it. You just hit a button, turn the propane on, you turn it towards you, and then hold it down, and then you hit the button a couple times, and it'll fire off. Then you turn a little bit more, and then it'll take off. But anyway, I bought this thing because it does not take electric or anything, and there it even says it on the box here. But does take a battery though, so that's funny how they say no electricity required, and then they get you, we're not operating without a blower. This one doesn't, they don't have a blower. That's a separate thing you have to buy for them. But funny how they say don't take electric. They technically, technically they still do, because they take a battery, so it's still electric. But it does not take 120 or anything like that. But I bought it just to try it, and I'll be up front with it. It's okay. That's about it. It's okay. It keeps it, just warm enough and knocks the chill off in my building. It's a little 10x10 building, and I got all my tools and all in, and it knocks the chill off. That's about it. But I mean, that thing will burn some propane, and I don't like how you can adjust it, because you turn the flame all the way up, and then I'll turn it all the way to where it's just, got just a little bit on there. But it don't matter, even if you got that thing on the low setting. That heater right there will burn some propane. I mean, it goes through it. I mean, it was one night where I was working the whole night, from like 7 at night till all the way 7 in the morning. And that thing burned up a whole 20-gallon tank. And you're supposed to run these things off a 100-pound tank at least. But that's why they sit there and tell you that, because it burns so much of it. That's what they don't want you to know. And then what I didn't like about it either is to get this whole thing set up, I had to spend almost $500, because it was $250 for this at Lowe's. Then I had to spend about almost, I think, was it $20 to $30, something like that. We'll just say $30 on the high end at most, to get the adapter and all that, just to hook it into a propane tank. I had to get that. And then I had to turn around and buy the propane tank, which is $155 at Lowe's right now. And then I had to turn around and pay, I think it was like $80 almost, to get it filled. So it's not quite $500, but it was almost $500 just to get this thing going. It's ridiculous. I had to pay $155 just for an empty 100-pound propane tank. But anyway, I spent all that money on it, and I mean, the only benefit about it, because I'm really not satisfied with it, is it doesn't take electric. That's the only thing that's nice about it. Because I got a generator, and it makes it nice, because I'm trying to save on gas, and I'd rather pay a little more for a propane than have to pay for a propane and gas for the generator, because I got one of them propane heaters and them torpedo heaters, and that thing is way better than that. That thing will heat it up, in no time, and shoot, it'll bring it up, 80, 90 degrees, and within 20, 25 minutes, and it'll hold it at a good temperature. But this thing right here, it'll keep it about 70 to 80 on the low setting there. But that's about it, and it's still chilling there. But I mean, that thing will burn some propane. It's ridiculous, it really is. And I'll be glad when spring's here, because I'm getting tired of buying propane. And you fill a 100-pound propane tank is almost, not quite 100, but almost $100 in my area. It's awful. And I went through the first one I filled up, and started off on this thing. I went through it now in 5.5 days. And this thing was turned on the low setting as well. But I could not believe that. It was like 5.5, almost 6 days. And then I was like, good Lord. That thing burned some propane. But yeah, the only thing that's even nice about it is it don't take electric. That's it. But I'll use it if I have to. But, it's just ridiculous. Kind of fed up with the whole thing, because it's getting tired of buying propane every time you turn around and all that. But I'm going to stick with my torpedo propane here, because it's a whole lot better. But anyway, enough about that. But let's get back to this motor here. And I got all the pistons out of it, got all the crank out of it, all the cam bearings look good. And I don't really see anything abnormal there. All the bearings look really good. And I was really tickled to death about that. That's just a little oil right there. I mean, they look good. But anyway, so I got all the freeze plugs out of it as well as two, and it took a little bit. This one back in here I had a little trouble with, but I did get it out though. The one that's on the starter side there, it went on the back. You got to get that thing the way these cylinder walls are. It's got the cylinder wall shaped like that. You got to knock it in kind of a certain way there. You got to knock it in kind of this way in order to turn that thing to spit it out to get it out. But I got her out though. But that was a little trick to that one back here. I've had trouble with that one before in the past. Not sure why, but I have. But all the cylinders, they don't look too terrible. They got a little bit of ring ridge, but it's nothing like horrible. But I think you could get by with just that one. I can barely feel that one. Barely feel that one too. That one, hangs a little bit on it. This one hang on it. I mean, it really needs to be bored, but I'm not putting all the money into a small block. I'd rather put the money in a 454 like I want for it eventually anyway. But we're just going to clean this thing on up, and I'm going to get a re-ring kit for it. And I'll order a stock roller cam for a 94 Camaro or something like that. And then we'll just swap this thing and upgrade it to a roller cam, and we'll be set. It'll eliminate all the zinc issue no more, so you can run regular off-the-shelf oil. And because everything I've looked up online, unless somebody tell me different out there, the roller cams, that's the whole point of running the roller cams, so you can get away with the zinc and run regular, off-the-shelf oil and not have to worry about it. And plus, they're so much better anyway. I mean, you get so many more miles out of the roller cams and all. I mean, you ain't got to worry about the lifters going flat and getting cupped, or the lobes getting flat. But actually, the cam lobes actually look pretty good, surprisingly. And it's buried underneath the snow there. There it is. There's the cam. But the cam lobes actually didn't look too bad. But, I ain't going to use it. I'm going to throw it away. There's one of the lifters. But I mean, they really didn't look that bad. It's sitting in the snow. A little surface rust on it. Anyway, yeah, that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to upgrade this thing to a roller cam. And then plus, I've been looking forever to find a roller block that has the mechanical fuel pump hole right there, which this one does. Not sure if I showed that, but I know I pointed it out. But it's got that hole drilled into the block there, right there. So that's nice. And the nice thing about it too is I found a little secret out. This is a 94 TBI 350 block. And so if you ever had an electric fuel pump go out in this thing, you could just take and if you got that cover like mine did here, you could pull that little delete plate off, get you a fuel pump push rod, just the old school one, and put that back in there, run you a mechanical fuel pump, and swap the intake and throw you a carburetor on it there. And then you could do away with the computer stuff and all that if you really want it. Because the nice thing about it, I got to looking at this cam a little bit closer, but GM apparently that has the fuel pump camshaft lobe still there. And that's, you know, this one's never been used because it's never, you know, this was a fuel injected motor. And it's actually on there right there. I could not believe that after I got to looking at it. So really, that makes it nice. Because you could actually take and throw a mechanical fuel pump on this thing, do away with all that fuel injection stuff and make it back old school. And you don't have to worry about, you know, anything. You don't have to worry about a fuel pressure regulator or anything. So that makes it nice. But not all blocks, the downside of that is not all blocks have that hole in there. Some of them, they're not even drilled with these bolt holes here. And some of them, they're just cast. That hole's not even drilled or anything. It's not even machined. So, and I wish I could find a video where they actually machine this hole in there, because it goes right through the block here and goes up to the camshaft. But, so that makes it really nice. So you could actually easily convert that over if you really want it, as long as you get that mechanical fuel pump hole there. But I got a 305 that's exactly like this. Was actually came with a roll cam, but it is a 87 motor, and you know, the only downside is, you know, obviously a 305, but exact same motor as this. You know, it was a roller, factory roller motor and all that. It did not have the windage tray, but that was actually a nice motor. And I actually thought about using it in my C10 to begin with, just to upgrade to a roller. Because I'm trying to get away from these flat tappet cams. They're nice in their day and all, but now, you know, this is 2021 now. And, you know, it's time to upgrade. The bad part about it is, you know, these motors right here are, you know, they're getting outdated. They're already outdated. Everybody's doing LSs and all that. And even then, those are starting to get outdated now a little bit. I think people are doing like, I think most of them are like LS3s, the 5.3s, and 6.0s. And now they're doing what, LS6s or whatever it is now. So even those are starting to get outdated, but so these are definitely outdated. But you know, I'm still old school. But you know, I want to go ahead and upgrade this thing to a roller cam, and plus I'll have the hardened valve seats, and you ain't got to worry about nothing. Get so many more miles out of them, and be good to go. I was tickled to death about my Durango over there because it has a roller in it. I wasn't sure if it did or not, but it sure does. Plus you can tell the way it runs too, the way it spins up and all that. The RPM, it's so much smoother where a flat tablet, kind of hard to describe, but it's a little more choppy kind of sounding, I guess, when it's idling. But then when you spin a roller motor up, you know, it just zoom, go right on up. But anyway, so that's where we're at here, and show you all the new taillights and all. But so I got all that stuff ordered. Go ahead and take it on over. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty nice. I got all new taillights for it, and eventually I'm gonna have to do some major rust repair on this truck, because you know, eventually I want to build it to be a four-wheel drive, but I got to keep it on the road for right now, because you know, I'm still using it, and you know, I don't want to do that type of build just yet. I'm not quite ready for that. I got to get all these other vehicles going first before I can even think about that. But that's why I'm putting this other motor in it, just so I can keep it in service and keep it going. But oh yeah, we got our new tail lights here. This was actually kind of inexpensive. So there's our gaskets there for our tail lights. Here's our actual tail lights, and they are the same for both sides. So really, you know, left side, right side, they're exact same. And we got our new reverse lights here. So we got all that ordered. So That'd be a huge difference. The bad part about it is my reverse lights don't even work, and the issue is with the neutral safety switch, so I got to replace that. But if I bypassed it and I run a hot, if you take that wire underneath the dash there and you hook a hot to it, they'll come right on. I think this side the bulb is burnt out, but that side will come on. And I did take that bulb out and put it in this one, and that one comes on too. So I have to replace that bulb and then replace that neutral safety switch underneath the steering column, and they'll be good to go. But I haven't decided if I'm going to put trim back on it. I may not. I kind of like the shape look. But this truck actually did have trim at one time. But they're slightly different. But that'll be a whole lot better, so we'll have all new taillights in it and be a lot clearer. So we'll get our neutral safety switch here soon for it too, and get them reverse lights working like they're supposed to be. Because I always drove me nuts too. Every time you back up, you know, couldn't half see what in the world you were doing. It's so dark they wouldn't come on. I had to like back up and like kind of keep my foot like a little bit on the brake pedal. Not enough to where, you know, it's stopping or anything, but just hold it just enough to where the lights would come on back here, so I'd have some kind of light. Wasn't really using the brakes at all, but I was just using the light more or less. But there's our reverse light gaskets there. But yeah, it's gonna be nice. So we'll just save all this stuff up. I got the assemblies as well, so we'll put these all in all new assemblies. I've been wanting to replace this stuff like a year ago, but I just never got around to it. I actually take that back. They really need it replaced when I first bought it, but I got so many parts around. It ain't funny. I need to get this stuff put together. That's like the Durango and all that. I got the tensioner. I got a brand new ignition coil for it, and I ain't even had time to put that on yet. There's our new tensioner for it. So I got that to put on yet. I need to put that on. So I bought that, and I bought the ignition coil because in order to put this on, you got to take the ignition coil off anyway, and it had a little crack in it if you look back in the videos there. And still works good. But I figure, well, you know, I got to pull it off anyway, so I'll buy a new one and I'll just throw a new one on and throw the tensioner on at the same time. Be done with it. But yeah, trying to straighten this truck out here, and I got all that ordered. Got to get my reverse light assemblies here, and then I need to get this mirror. I've got to get a mirror for this side, and then replace that rear view mirror as well, because that thing is so worn out. It, you know, it pivots. It won't stay in the same position, and I've tried to tighten it and all that, but it ain't nothing you can do. It's wore out, and the pivot point right there. So in the center of the mirror right there, so it won't stay up like it's supposed to. So I got to order that here soon too, and then get that motor in it, and eventually sometime or another I got to replace this whole front clip. The hood is savable, but the rest of the front clip is trash pretty much. The bumper actually I think the bumper's savable too. We can reuse that bumper and the hood, but the rest of it is just trash. The fender, this fender is shot. Even the inner fender is shot as well. Even if you pulled that inner fender back out and straightened it, it's still shot anyway because it's all rotted out underneath up there. This side is shot as well because the inner fender on this side is completely rotted out, as well as the outer fender. And it's, I think it's like, no, it's good back there, but it is rotted out all through there and all that. But actually, yeah, this is the only side that still has the trim on the side there. But anyway, yeah, I got to replace these lenses right here next to get all that replaced. But this truck, I mean, it's got so many issues. It ain't funny. The speedometer, you know, it tells you how fast you're going. That part works, but the miles don't work. If you tap on it, they'll work. And I've tried spraying PB Blaster up inside of it, and it won't do nothing. I'm not sure what's going on with it. It must have a bunch of grease built up on it or something, but the miles ain't worked since I've had it. If you tap it a couple times, they'll work for like a couple tenths of a mile, and then they'll quit. But when it don't hum or anything, I replaced the cable, and so I don't know what's going on with it. But anyway here, but yeah, hopefully get this thing straightened out a little bit. We'll get the other motor in it. I need to get the Turbo 350 that I put that shift kit and all in. I made videos about it a while back, and still ain't finished that series on it because I still got to put the valve body and all that good stuff on it. And I need to get that series finished up because I know it's people out there that want to see that. But got to get that done. That way it'll have a fresh motor and a fresh transmission. And I've never did a transmission before, but we'll find out. I'll see how good I am. But everything, as far as I remember, we checked out pretty good on it. But so I had to get that in here and get that going. But it'd be nice though. But yeah, I did strip this thing down to bare metal. And I got a bunch of surface rust, but that'll all clean up. But trying to strip this thing all the way down to bare metal, see what I really got on it. But the bed's definitely savable. I mean, it's got rot on the fender wells there, but and some of the cross members up under here are shot, but not all of them. But that one I think is okay. Yeah, that one's okay. But as hard as these beds are to find, and people think they're gold, in my opinion, they only worth couple hundred at most. When people want like 1,000, 1,500 just for one of these fleet side beds, it's crazy. But so I won't take in rather than pay $1 million for a bed, I'm gonna take in fix what I got here, and then I'll have to replace this whole front clip. Now theoretically, really, I could save this fender and this inner fender if I really had to, and I may just order that section for under here and then just buy the section for the inner fender and just replace those two pieces rather than replace the whole thing, which probably would be better off anyway because this is GM factory sheet metal there, and I do not want no reproduction sheet metal whatsoever because I had that disaster on my Chevelle and I still ain't even got all that straightened out yet. I'm gonna end up breaking down. I'm gonna end up taking all that stuff I ordered for it, all that new hood and all that stuff. I'm gonna end up selling and get what I can get out of it. And then I'm gonna try and find a good original hood, good original fenders. Even if I gotta patch the bottom of the fenders, I don't care. But I'm gonna get a good original sheet metal and put back on that car because I got gaps like crazy between the doors. And the reason this gap's on this truck here is because I ain't got the door lined up right. It's wide up here. Look back here, it's almost touching, so the whole door needs to go that way a little bit. Unless you can see it as well up in here. But this door's junk anyway. I mean, it's rotted out. It ain't funny. Yeah, you can take it. You can push it in and out like that. But that's the only downfall about this whole truck. It's just this truck is rotted all to pieces. The kick panels are about gone out of it. The inner and outer rockers, because somebody put the rocker slip-on covers, we'll call it, on this thing on the outside there, and then just decided to leave all the rot there. So the inner rockers are shot, the outer rockers are shot. I like how they riveted it on there like that. So that'll have to all be corrected. They took a piece of sheet metal right here, so the floors all the way around the edges, except for on the firewall and probably back here, is completely rotted. And kick panels as well are gone. Pull this rug back here. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it's completely rotted to pieces. But ain't nothing that can't be fixed. Look, you actually got the joints separating down there. But it is eat up. But the transmission tunnel, and from this point all the way back is okay. It's just a little bit around the edge right here, and then part of the kick panel, and this side, well, the inner and outer rocker, and this side would be okay. And the other side is a little different story. it's going to need kind of a lot more work to straighten it out. It's going to need this fender replaced, the inner fender as well. And the downside about it is where this door bolts up back in here, it was so rotted out, it just crushed all that in. So go out to try and pull that out as good as you can, and then cut that out, and then replace all that sheet metal back in there. But I just almost at the point, I mean, it'd be nice to find a whole lot better cab, because the roof on this thing is kind of screwed up too. It's messed up a little bit right there where it's rotted out. But that's not really my main focus. But on top is where I'm kind of a little concerned about. The whole inside of the cab. Well, not the whole inside, but I'll get to that in a second. Where's that? There's somewhere up on this roof. It's messed up. Yeah, it's like right in here. It's got dents all in it. Yeah, that's where it's at. Yep. This side's all okay, but something is... I can't remember what in the world is going on here. Yeah, I think it's this point from this whole area, this corner right here. It's got something going on with it because it's full of filler. But anyway, yeah, it's a work in progress here. I gotta get this door fixed because it's rubbing down here. And that little fender bender I had, it's screwed everything up. But I gotta fix this steering column too. The little fender bender, I gotta get a steering column yet. You can take your hand right here and pull it back and watch right in here. Yep. See that gap? I can actually pull it back. So that's an issue. But this whole cab, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I really want to save it, but it's all rotted out all through here, all the way completely across. Windshield leaks. I mean, it's just issue after issue. This was a factory AC truck. Somebody had put a regular heater control assembly in here. And the wire harness on this thing is just so screwed up, it ain't funny. Everything from the taillights up has been replaced. And some of the wiring under the hood are replaced as well. I finally upgraded it had the old externally regulated alternator, and I kept it for a while. And I look back in videos there. I kept it for a long time, and it run a short water pump. Now I convert it to a long water pump because it's so much better. That's why I put the 305 in it, to get the accessory holes. And that way it's just an upgrade. It's so much simpler. It's so much better setup. And that's why I got the power steering bracket. I did get that. That way it'll allow me